Christina, enough love. The audio will work. Christina's in. No, we can't hear you at all at the moment, Christina. Christina's in Spain at the moment. So.
Is that any better? Can you hear me now, Denise?
I can, yes, but I can't see you.
Oh, okay. I've got audio only on you guys. Let me try and move my voice around. Oh, we're going a little bit. If anyone can see, this is my router today, and so we're just going to sort of weave it around the room. Dangers of mobile internet. So, otherwise, you guys might.
Hello, Barry. Hi, Happy New Year, Delia. Laura says she's going to lurk in the corner and listen.
Laura, join in if you'd like. So welcome to Barry and to Ken. And we're just waiting for.
I'm gonna just quickly dive back out and come in just to see if I can get any video.
Okay. So welcome to everyone, and basically I'm Emma, obviously this is Denise, and Christina we're just waiting for. Christina has a couple of e-commerce businesses and as a result was extremely busy over Christmas, or just on the run up to Christmas. So she is on holiday, or part holiday I guess, in Spain. So I guess the Wi-Fi maybe isn't as good. But essentially, Happy New Year to everyone. I just realized this is the first one of the new year.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yes, actually it is, isn't it? Yeah, Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy New Year. So welcome to Tommy and Dolores. Really delighted to have everyone here. We're getting loads of people in actually today, so it's great. And Carl, Happy New Year. Carl, thank you so much. And thank you for the love, doing the tweet out there, Dolores, as well. Really, really appreciate that. When Christina can get going, we'll get started. So if anybody, I suppose, has any questions or anything like that, or is any addition to what any of you are planning for the new year. So essentially this evening is really just about plans that we all have, but equally if anybody else would like to jump in and, you know, discuss kind of business and marketing plans for 2016, we'd be delighted to have you here. Obviously it's the 4th of January, so the first Blab of the year. I think this is our 14th Blab.
Is it?
I believe so, yeah. So I'll go back and double check actually. I don't want to know if it's the 13th because I'm one of these people. I'm a bit what's the word? I don't like the number 13. I think I'm a bit yeah. I get worried about that number. Yeah. So basically, Denise and Christina and I were launching in the middle of launching really a new mastermind that's starting next week. Application sign off is on Friday, and yeah, we've been doing a series of blabs where we've been helping people in terms of marketing, in terms of business, and just tonight we're just chatting about you know, just what we're planning for the new year. And again, if anybody wants to jump in, we would be delighted to have you. So welcome to Connected Thinking. And it seems that Christina, her internet is awful. She's going to reboot. Okay, no problem. So we might just maybe get started while Christina is just sorting out her router problems on holiday in Spain. I'm sure her boyfriend is probably delighted because she's been probably working more than being on holiday since she's got there. So I suppose essentially just a couple of things. If anybody wants to ask a question, it's just / and space, and you can ask a question. That's in the chat. If you want to join, you just there's an open seat and we can allow you to join. So if you have anything to contribute, we'd really appreciate if you do, because that adds to the conversation. If you want to share the love, you can see the 2 hands at the bottom right hand corner of our screens, and that's basically kind of like a high five or a like on Facebook or whatnot. So if you haven't been on Blab already, that's just what that means. And we appreciate that, just predominantly, not because we need all the love as such, but just essentially it does help to bring our Blab up the rankings amongst other Blabs this evening. So that's really why that's important in that regard. So welcome to Ryan Thomas Woods. And I guess, yeah, Janice, would you like to tell us a bit about yourself and your background and whatnot?
Right, so right, okay, I'm just fiddling around there with my internet. So yeah, my background is in the corporate world. So I have about 25 years of leadership and management experience, and I spent 8 years doing what I often refer to as hard labour as a chief executive of quite a large organisation. And then I mounted my liberation strategy and decided that I wanted to set up my own business. And so my business is in the business consulting and coaching space. And so I've been doing that for the last couple of years. And I am based in London, here in the UK. So, yeah, kind of right in the heart of things. My little cat has decided that she wants to join us as well. So apologies for any disruption from her. So yeah, and then I met Emma and Christina through a group program that we were all doing, and we got chatting and kind of got to know each other over a period of time, and we basically started to collaborate. So on this on Blab, and as well more formally by setting up a mastermind group together. So yeah, it's my liberation strategy, I often refer to it as. So yeah,
that's a great term, actually. I really like that. I'm going to use that again.
So that's a little bit about my background, and I suppose the other thing in terms of my sort of formal training and education that's worth knowing is that I did some leadership training at Cranfield School of Business, which is the leading UK business school over here. So yeah, that's a bit about me. What about you, Emma? Do you want to just introduce yourself?
I quickly passed the baton there. Did you notice that?
How you did that. Yeah. So I'm just going to get straight back.
Thank you. So basically, I'm Emma Darcy. I'm from Ireland, from the south in Tipperary, a long way to Tipperary, if anyone is familiar with that song. And essentially, I have worked for the last 20 years now, I guess, giving the game away in terms of my age, in a variety of industries. Predominantly, I worked initially in the bloodstock industry. I grew up on a farm, so I have significant experience with random things like tractors and diggers and whatnot, but did work in that industry as well. And equally, I worked significantly in the retail industry, in particular for Lidl, which is a German supermarket giant. They were based in Ireland, and I worked in their headquarters for a number of years and gained a lot of experience there. I did things slightly backwards. I worked in a couple of other places too, mainly kind of logistics, warehousing, those sort of industries. Were really super in kind of, I suppose, laying the ground and the framework for dealing with ordering stock, buying stock, the cost of warehousing, just kind of, I suppose, business in general. I kind of did things slightly backwards then, in that I went back to university then in 2006. I didn't have a degree before that, so I'd worked my way up through, worked my way up the career ladder, if you like, without a degree, which was great. But I decided I needed to go back in 2006, and I did a business degree. And following that, I went on and did a master's, an MSc in Marketing, Consumption and Society in the University of Limerick in Ireland. I've always loved marketing. And I suppose back in 1999, I actually did start. I was always doing courses before I went back and did a degree, but nothing ever added up to a degree. So I decided finally in 2006 to bite the bullet and go back, and I did that. Now, while I was in university, I equally worked my way through those couple of years and did a lot of kind of contract work, and equally I worked in the retail industry, and kind of took up, I suppose, really what you do, take on lots of work that you mightn't, you may not do kind of otherwise, or you're trying to fit it around your studies and whatnot. So a lot of sales, worked as a sales manager in that time. And so lots of experience in market research, sales and all that sort of thing. So then I officially started my own business 5 years ago when I finished my master's in marketing, and I've been working since. And actually I've been really lucky because the university I did my master's and degree with actually ironically asked me back to help them with their marketing. So literally I kind of finished and walked straight into doing work with them, which is fantastic, particularly when you start off. And so I've worked since then with a variety of different businesses, small to medium businesses predominantly, and equally a lot of solo entrepreneurs. So helping them with their marketing strategy, with their social media strategy, but overall kind of marketing strategy in general. And I suppose really that's a lot about me. I suppose as an aside, I've done a lot of traveling and I love horses. Hence, we called the mastermind that we're doing the Winners Enclosure, because both Christina and I and Denise have a background in horses. And I just love the idea of being in the Winners Enclosure and for, I suppose, winners to come together and to work together towards our own goals. So I suppose that's really a bit about me and the background. I for the year going forward, I suppose, in terms of planning and whatnot, I've kind of changed my business a lot and I've geared it towards the online world. Now, not huge, like it's not all towards online, but I suppose going forward into 2016, obviously we're launching the mastermind this week, but equally I'm looking at a membership site and I'm in the process of creating content for a membership site. You know, a lot of people come to me and are looking for, you know, standardized training. So there's training that you can do and it could be there equally by video and that I don't necessarily have to deliver it. So I'm in the process of doing that. I'm also hugely interested in consumer psychology, and anyone that knows me knows I've had an interest in this for years. And essentially, if you've ever heard the term an ideal customer, and in particular you hear this a lot in the online world. Now, it actually kind of drives me nuts that people always refer to this one ideal customer, because I don't believe there is one. I believe, you know, there's no business can have just one customer, right? I mean, you've got to understand that there's different types of customers and you've got to understand their different needs and wants and to gear your business and your products and services towards how you can benefit them. So I've been working towards putting an online course out there about consumer psychology, and so I'm in the middle of working on that as well. So I have a lot of things to work on for the new year. Really, really excited about them. Equally podcasting, because I do actually like interviewing people and kind of sharing the love in terms of any nuggets of gold that people have, you know, that they've gained over the years by being entrepreneurs. I'd like to do that. So that's in the offing as well. So I'm starting interviews for that next week. And so lots of stuff that is new, but equally a lot of it is building on the platforms I've been working on for the last number of years. So all kind of exciting. And I suppose over to you, Denise, what are your plans? Or I've kind of given mine, a few of mine, but maybe we can share more later. But what's some of your plans? I know you've got some exciting things in the off as well.
Right. Well, I suppose I had 2-3 key projects that I wanted to get up and running in 2015. So I've just come to this end of my second year of business. So my first year, I very much concentrated on just building out my one-to-one coaching portfolio of clients and on working with them. I haven't had a methodology that I wanted to be able to test out. So the methodology is based on how I ran my business when I was a CEO. And so how did that sort of translate to working in the small business space, both on my own business and with my clients as well. So I've been testing that out. And then in the 2015, I had my sort of my 3 key business projects. So first of all was to establish a blog and start to build out my platform. And so I spent a lot of time in 2015 really trying to work out how to do that. And if any of you out there are bloggers, it'd be great if you could say in the chat box if you are. Maybe you found it like me endlessly frustrating, and it's really taken several months before I've started to see any real results and traction. But I absolutely love writing. So that was my first project. My second project was to start to take my work online and to build out a membership site as well, so that I have really great resources in there for small business owners. And so I've been doing that, and my intention is to do a big launch of that in 2016. And then my third project, which I'm not sure I was really very convinced I was going to get off the ground, was to set up my own group mastermind program, and so a small group coaching program. And I don't know if you and Christina hadn't come along and put the idea to me, I don't know how far I'd have got with that particular goal or not. So those are my 3 big projects that I wanted to make some headway with in 2016. And I suppose going back to my idea of the liberation strategy is that I wanted to create a business where I don't have to be in London all of the time, that if I want to take a mini sabbatical and go and work somewhere else, if I want to travel, if I want to do any project work at all for perhaps an aid agency, then I'm able to do that as well. So I'm in 2015, I became an ambassador for an organisation called Half the Sky, which works around the education and empowerment of girls and young women. And so that's something that I want to be able to build out and work on more in the future. But I've got kind of some key goals. I'm just going to outline them now and just sort of very briefly. And so the first one is to take a mini sabbatical in kind of July, August time and write that book, which I have been saying that I want to write a book for quite a while now. So it's to create time and space to be able to do that. And so I'd love to know in the chat whether any of you have a similar ambition to write a book as well. My second kind of key goal is to really build out my newsletter list, build out my mailing list, because I've not given a huge priority to that in the sort of my first couple of years in business, but it's really is sort of time for me to prioritize that and build out a significant list and hopefully provide a lot of useful business advice and information and value to them. The third is to organise a big launch of what I'm calling my best year ever business roadmap. And that is an independent study course based around the methodology that I was talking about that I use when I'm working with my clients and which I developed as a CEO. So I want to launch that as an independent study program as well, so I can make it accessible to sort of micro businesses and startups. Got some ideas about hosting an online business summit, probably using Blab as one of the key vehicles as well. I would love to have a small team in place by the end of the year that help me to manage my content marketing strategy, because to really do that well is a significant piece of work, and I want to add on to that, probably more likely in 2017, by having my own podcasting show as well. So it's going to be really important to me that I build out that team. And then the final goal that I've got is that I want to start building out a property portfolio as well, because it's kind of something that I've always been really interested in doing. So really keen to get going with a property portfolio. I know lots of really, really great people who work in the trades, some of whom are my clients. So it's something that I sort of feel would be really quite easily achievable. So those are my kind of big goals.
Pretty amazing, Denise.
Yeah.
And obviously, welcome to Mycroft Homes. Can you tell me your first name, please? Can you hear us? Or we can hear you, or rather we can't hear you. So if you can just put in the chat. So he can hear us, but we can't hear him. And you're obviously not feeling the best at the moment, so sorry to hear that. Okay. Well, just while Mycroft Homes is sorting that out. He's saying changing sound drivers. Okay, we'll just kind of keep chatting until you're ready. Just pop in when you're ready. If anyone else wants to join in the chat and share what they're doing and any of the plans that they have, and if you need any advice, we're happy to help. Or indeed, if anyone else has any advice, that would be most welcome as well. And I can see Equestrian HQ. Kim is really active. A lot of people really active in the chat. So if you would like to join us, we really would be delighted. Unfortunately, Christina, one of our other leaders on this Blab, is in Spain and can't join us. Or she's telling us she can't anyway. Maybe she's beside the pool and she's not really letting us know. I'm not sure. In terms of goals, though, they're fantastic goals to have, Janice. You know, I think there's, by this time next year, you'll have a fantastic story to be telling. You know, if you've achieved even half of those, I mean, they're monumental goals to have. I'd be interested in terms of the summit. What are your thoughts around the summit? I mean, that sounds like a really interesting idea. I've seen one or two people, I think it was a Michael Hyatt and somebody else was doing one, and you were saying to me about that. So maybe you could tell us a bit more about that, because I think that's a really intriguing idea that maybe other people might be interested in going forward.
I think, I mean, it's only something I've really, that I've started thinking about more seriously in the last sort of month or so, and I've seen a few people around the coaching space running summits over the past few months, and they have really given a kind of massive boost to their business and helping them to build out their platform. And I suppose the one that I enjoyed most was the Michael Hyatt one. For those of you, if you don't know me, I'm a huge fan of Michael Hyatt's work. I've been following him for quite a few years now. And he ran what he called an influence and impact summit. And I can't remember if it was 20 or 30 interviews that he did with quite a mixture of people and across a range of industries. And he was talking to them around how you build out influence and impact, which is very much his thing. And so that's kind of really got me thinking about doing something similar myself. So I haven't got really a huge lot further in my thinking about it than that, really. So I'm just having a quick look in the chat here about, because one of the questions I asked was around whether anybody here is planning to write a book, for example. And so we've got Equestrian HQ is planning to write a book as well. So it'd be great to hear about your plans around that. My book's going to be around my business roadmap that I was talking about. So that's, I suppose, going to be the sort of first book that I write, sort of like build out with my business coaching methodology. So
great. I see Spy Gadget Rentals is asking, so what exactly are you guys planning? You might have missed part of what we were saying, actually. Spy Gadget Rentals, sorry, I don't know your first name. Or is it Monty, is it? Or Henry, I'm not sure. And but yeah, we've both got some really good plans for the year. What we feel, obviously, that they are, and I'm sure you do too. So if you'd like to share some, we'd be delighted to have you. I see from your profile, Ashley, that you obviously are in the security business, and you look like you have some interesting stuff that you're doing. Maybe you'd like to share it with us as well. So I suppose really going forward, Janice is obviously speaking about, she's looking at doing a summit, writing a book, and lots of other stuff there. I just mentioned I'm looking at doing a membership site, in the process of doing it, I should say. So going forward, that's what I will have. And equally, a book is on the list. I'm not sure for 2016, maybe more 2017. I mentioned earlier I have done a master's, so kind of PhD is in or around that as well. So I'm trying to combine both, where I'm writing content for blogs and for different parts of my marketing materials, but equally I'm hoping that that can be used as well as part of my research for a PhD going forward. So we've got Mycroft Holmes back again. So can you hear, or rather can we hear you? So how are you?
Wow, that's really loud. I got to adjust some volume here. Hold on.
Because that's a great mic. I feel very bad with my little headset. He's got this monumental mic. Yeah, so, you know, and obviously we've got our mastermind, which a few of you have heard us talking about. So that's really exciting for all of us here. And I suppose one of the things about the mastermind is the fact that, and I've definitely learned it over the last couple of years, is that we all need accountability. And equally, we need people to go back to and bounce our ideas off. and to keep us moving forward all the time in terms of us achieving our goals, particularly as entrepreneurs. We're not typically surrounded by lots of other entrepreneurs. So sometimes you can get disheartened and maybe not follow through on some of your goals. And I think it's really important that we do. I mean, I was talking to somebody earlier today, and I was just saying I had goals 5 years ago that I just became hesitant about and didn't really follow through on, and then going back to that again, and I'm kind of bringing them back to the fore again. And it's just interesting that, you know, that we all need that sounding board. We all need those other entrepreneurs that would help us and guide us and help us move forward in our businesses, so that we can be the best entrepreneurs that we can be, and to facilitate any opportunities that come up, making decisions if it's something to go for now, is it something for later. And the other thing as well is to learn from others. I think that's really important, that we learn from other business people. You know, we all have such different backgrounds, and we've learned in different industries, but some of it, a lot of the time, it's quite applicable to other industries too. So I think it's important to be able to learn from others. And I think that's what the mastermind will do as well, where Denise and Christine and I will be teaching, but equally everyone else within the mastermind as well will have wonderful experience that they can share too. And I think as well within that, there'll be plenty of examples for us all to understand or have greater depth of understanding of what it means to be in business, what it means to follow our passion, what it means to, you know, get up every day and to follow those dreams and to do what you need to do every day, and to keep doing it. So I think that's one definitely very important aspect of a mastermind. So indeed, if any of you, even if you're not in a mastermind, I'd highly recommend you get accountability partners, that you're coming on Blab, or that you've got some sort of forum or medium whereby you can connect with other entrepreneurs and, you know, I suppose re-motivate yourself if you need to, or get help if you need to, or advice, or indeed if you can dispense any help or advice, that can be really great as well. So are you back up and running, Mycroft Homes?
God willing and the creek don't rise. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, absolutely. So what's your first name?
I'm actually Anthony. Anthony Park is my name.
Oh, hi Anthony. Welcome.
Mycroft Homes is a throwback to my early days as a Google Plus beta tester.
Okay.
I created, this was a sort of joke account because this name goes back to my high school days. You know,
okay.
valedictorian in high school. People used to cheat off me all the time. My AP European history professor walked up to me one day and he said, "Well, who do you think you are, Mycroft Holmes?" And the sad part is there was 3 people in that room, himself, myself, and one other gal who got the reference. And everyone was like, "Who's Mycroft Holmes?" And, you know, the sad part is nothing has changed in 25, 30 years.
I didn't want to point that out, but...
Very few people actually know who Mycroft Holmes is, and no one apparently at Google reads, because shortly after year 1 of Google Plus, they had something called the NIM Wars, meaning they wanted to get rid of everybody with monikers, pseudonyms, right? And I got in a huge debacle with a gal who was masquerading as having lupus, and she was basically just conning the system and getting all sorts of free charitable contributions, saying she couldn't get out of a wheelchair, couldn't walk. There was an expose online about her that came out of the newspapers in her area. They saw her walking around at a museum and all this stuff. It was a horrible thing. But when I brought that online, I said, "Hey, you know, you need to stop giving her money. This is not really what this is about." Big debacle, the Google Plus community manager, who she was friends with, and they canceled the wrong account. They canceled my name, Anthony Park, thinking it was a pseudonym, but left this one. And so for the last 4 years, I've been known online as Mycroft Holmes, because I said, why bother changing it, you know? So anyway, that's why I when I came over to Blab, I knew that there were a lot of people who came here from Google Hangouts who were looking for a place to hang around and do stuff. But I'm not one for hiding behind pseudonyms. My name is Anthony Park. I run an investment firm, et cetera, et cetera. So
do you want to give us a bit more of your background, maybe, or just what it is you do, or, you know, what are your goals for the new year?
Yeah, I have a lot of goals, but I find that marketing is not my strong suit. I didn't go to school for that. I went to school for finance.
Okay.
And
we're talking a different language now, you know that.
Somewhat. I mean, some of it is a little bit woo-woo, but I mean, there's a lot of great nuggets in there that I think that I just am not partial to yet, or, you know, but I'm willing to learn. Hey, you know, my biggest thing is I have a consulting practice. I run an investment firm. It is surprisingly very similar to sort of Sherlock Holmes and the whole Mycroft Holmes thing. It is a very private practice. I don't do a lot of advertising in the public, mostly because I'm afraid of doing something wrong and doing something stupid, right? And I don't, worse yet, is doing something wrong, doing something stupid, and then spending lots of money on it. I find that just, I can't do that. So I've been sitting on my hands and just growing my practice quite literally by accident. I left the mortgage industry in 2007 just as it tumbled in the US, and spent $30,000 becoming, an investment advisor and opening a firm with no clients, nothing, with just a hope and a prayer. And I said, that's the last money I'm spending. I will get clients because they know me and they know that I'm good at what I do, or I will fail. But I will not pay people money unless they can show me at least what ROI means to a finance guy. I'm corporate finance for 20 odd years, right? And so I find that ROI in marketing, a demonstrable ROI in marketing and a demonstrable ROI in finance and accounting are, never the twain they'll meet. It doesn't seem to they don't mean the same thing, right? And so I'm having
trouble. It depends. I think it depends who you're talking to.
Well, it does, and I haven't found those people yet. At least maybe I have, but I just don't know you guys well enough. But the vast majority of people on the internet marketing social media, to me, it sounds a little something like this, and this is a caricature. If you pay me money now, I will do something for you. There are no guarantees. But I think you will get clients. But my price tag is at some exorbitantly large number, right? Mm-hmm. But it's better than doing nothing. And at that point, that's when the wheels start to fall off the train, And so I've just been learning a lot about social media. I've been a sort of quiet behind the scenes background. I was, beta tester on Google+, and I've watched people talk about marketing and social media for the last 5 years, mm-hmm. And I think I know 3 people, thus far, not including you ladies, who can honestly say that they make a living with their marketing, okay? And I know what a living means to me, okay? It means $50,000 a year. If you can't make that, right, or show other people how they can make that, a demonstrable ROI, right? Yeah, you know what I mean?
Well, I think in part I would agree. What I would say, I wrote a blog post about it a while back where I think there are a lot of people, probably particularly so, or it seems to be in the online space, whereby there is a huge emphasis on how many likes, comments, and shares that you have on social media posts. And they don't necessarily translate into sales. And I think the important part is obviously where, you're looking at relationship building through social media, but there is a point where you've got to bring them through a sales funnel. Like at the end of the day, you're in business to make money. And I think partially that is being forgotten, I think, in some context in the online world. Like you're saying that there is some high ticket, courses and people that you could work with. And sometimes probably it is a bit vague as to what they can actually deliver. But I guess it depends what you're looking for first. I think every situation is different, and it's got to depend on your own business and what your objectives are.
Well, and I lay it out very clear because I am a finance guy and I'm very left brain, right? So yeah. I want 12 to 20 new clients a year. And as an investment advisor, that means I want on average, the average client size, the minimum client size is 300,000, all the way up to 7 million. North of that, they require things that I just really don't want to. I didn't come into this business to buy myself a job. I came into this business to use my expertise, right? Mm-hmm. And I love this, being able to work from home. And I don't know if you were paying attention earlier, but I switched the microphone around. I got the big, projector. I love being able to work from the adjustable bed. It's great. I see the big monitor with the markets, and it's all cool. I love that, right? But I didn't want to buy myself a job when I became a consultant. So, 12 to 15 new clients a year, average size 300,000. 1 or 2 clients could be north of $1 million. That would be great. But there's a reason that I want that in particular. Anybody north of $1 million, they have a different mindset about how what the relationship with as an advisor. And if you have too many large clients, they begin to own you. And so if you have 7 $1 million clients and you lose one, that's going to hurt you financially. If you lose one $300,000 client, That's sad. I mean, it's emotionally, horrible. I hate losing clients. Thankfully, it hasn't happened yet. But it wouldn't hurt me financially, right? So,
But I think that's relative. I think it's relative, to what people's expectations are, to what they earn. And, I mean, obviously in your context, 300,000, if you lose it, maybe not much to you, but I think for some people it may be. I think
I mean, 300,000 under advisement, like an investable net worth. That's not what they're making a year. That's what that's what their IRA has or their nest egg has, that sort of thing. I mean, people short of, say 65, the statistical likelihood of them having $1 million, it's almost zero in the United States. Okay, it's almost zero. So I know that my clients are typically 65 and older, or at least 55 typically in order. By then they've amassed that kind of nest egg. Does that make sense?
I'm just wondering, sorry, your statistic there, that any people less than 65 are 0% likely to be making $1 million. Is that what you said, or?
No, it's almost 0% likely that they have $1 million nest egg, that they have $1 million of investable assets outside of their home. I mean, they can't put their home with me and tell me to manage it, right? Sure. If I'm managing their money in the stock market, they need to have a minimum of $300,000 of investable net assets, right?
Sure.
So I'm looking for 12 to 15 of those people a year. I have talked to everybody in social media over the last 5 years, and every time I talk to them, their answer is woefully nebulous at best.
Mm-hmm. I think that's I think what I'd say there, Mycroft, is that there are I have to be quite careful because there may be people with social media agencies on the call. I don't think that a lot of them do a terribly good job of demonstrating the return on their investment. And I think that one of the issues with a lot of marketing type businesses, and some of my clients marketing businesses, is that they're not great at linking the financial outcomes to the marketing strategy that they're building out for their clients. And I think that's probably partly a bit of an issue of competence, and partly not really understanding how to make the connection, because certainly when I work with my clients, I don't specialize, I'm not a marketer, but I work with them on marketing, is we're able to show a very clear link between their marketing activities and the increase in customers and clients, and then what that means in terms of money as well. So I think it is possible to do it. I think some people don't do it very well. What I really want to do is kind of get back on topic.
Yeah.
What we're so we're here to talk about what we're planning out in 2016. So have you got something that you're kind of really aiming to plan out for 2016? I also see, because we've also got, I don't know your name.
Connected Thinking. What's your first name?
We've also got you here as well. So
Hi. It's Anne Clark. How are you doing?
Andrea.
Anne Clark.
Hi.
Anta. Welcome.
Sorry, Anne.
Oh, sorry.
Anne Clark.
My hearing is going. It's quite an Irish name, actually. So how are you, Anne?
Yeah, I'm really good. I just thought I'd get on today because I'm connected with Christina, and been hearing a lot about what you're doing in the equestrian business. So and just hearing about you guys, just interested in sort of connecting really. And if Christina's away, then I can be the third horsey girl for the season, just to balance out everybody else again. But no.
Include horses, Anthony?
Sorry?
I was just saying to Anthony, do your ambitions include horses?
They do, actually. There's a big pay it forward kind of helpful movement that I have kind of in the background. One of the reasons I became an investment advisor is because I wanted to start a not-for-profit, loosely linked with that to deal with animal charities. Like,
cool.
Because here in Arizona, there's a large movement to exterminate all the wild Mustangs.
Right.
And we've quashed that on several occasions, but it's coming back. And God help me, but this state in particular is really missing the basic concept of stewardship of land and animals, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And it destroys me. You know, I've been rescuing dogs for 30 years, and I don't own dogs. Dogs own me. That's for sure. The other thing I really want to do is I play a game called Go, and I know it's helped me tremendously in life, and I would like to pass that on to the next generation of children. And that takes money. It takes the ability to hire people from Asia, where the Go game is really popular, and bring them over here and install them on an annualized basis to teach junior high kids, things like that. So, my goal for 2016, however, is to get a total of 30 clients, regardless of size. I'm just going to actually open my book to the public, because up till now I've been very private. And I don't care if you have 50,000 or 10 million or anywhere in between. I'll help you get wherever you need to be. And so that's my goal. Now, I don't know how much of that includes social media or not. There's a lot of discussion about whether my clientele can be found online or not. I think they can be.
That's for another blab, I think, Anthony.
Yeah.
We'll have to do a whole other blab about that. What about you? What are your plans, or what would you like to share? What equestrian business are you in, actually, as a matter of interest?
So basically, I used to work for the British Equestrian Federation, and I managed the Hoof Business Network, which was set up for the Olympic Legacy program to help riding schools to become more profitable, to attract more participants and that kind of thing. And last summer I took the leap into sort of full-time. I was always part-time role there, and I had lots of ideas, a bit like your Great Escape. I can't remember what you phrased earlier, but Denise, but yeah, a bit like that in terms of planning
the liberation strategy. Is that it?
Yeah.
You can call it the great.
So what is liberation strategy? What does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, I've had it in sort of my toolkit for a while, and I set up my company while I was there, and sort of like, when you're working in an organization that is quite sort of, again, you have to sort of be careful what you say, but any sort of organization that is quite bureaucratic, and I'm quite entrepreneurial. I wanted to sort of really help these riding schools, and had loads of ideas and contacts that I could utilize, but it just getting them out in the right communication channels was difficult. So so this summer I took the leap. I've been working in a coaching program, a bit like what you're about to launch, and can completely endorse what you guys are doing, because I've sort of been through a program like that. So I spent most of the sort of end of last year transitioning into the business, and I've literally, today is the first day where I ran my first summit. So I've pulled together all my sort of contacts from the equestrian industry over the next sort of 10 business days, talking about things like planning permission in your yard. Tomorrow I'm interviewing a chap that I work with who does CRM systems for riding schools and things like that. So it's bringing together all my network of contacts who really, it's such a niche, really, my business, to help riding schools. So I set up a private Facebook group and that kind of thing. So sort of getting my communication channels. So I'm really interested in what you're saying, Denise, because I'm just sort of starting to blog for myself, and I find it quite hard to formulate my voice, I think. I've read lots of other blogs, but actually, when you come to put pen to paper, it's just finding that inner voice that you have and how to get it across. So it'd be great to talk about that, and if anyone's got any tips. But I read a really good book last year, which was like a day book for just like living your life. And I thought that the way that was written was a really good sort of format for me to implement and bring out my knowledge in an easy, digestible way for my clients to pick up, because they're busy people, pick up on a daily basis and just get a little nugget of inspiration of what they could be doing right now in their business, seasonal and that kind of thing. And just taking them through a year with just little things they could do within their business. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. And I've just started writing. I think I've written 3 pages now. My aim is to write a page a day and just see where that gets me, really.
Congratulations, that's fantastic.
So it's coming together, but I think getting out on video is my biggest thing. So that's why I jumped at the opportunity to join in today, because I've got to get more practice.
Well done. You're doing great. Yeah.
Oh,
Great forum for it, isn't it?
Thank you.
The blogging thing, I would say, I mean, my sort of like top tips, and there's nothing very fancy here. It's do it on a regular basis. So commit, sort of decide on how often you're going to publish your blog, and then send it out to people that follow you, even if it's only your mum and your brother, or whoever it is. It's commit to that habit. And so I started off blogging once a week, and then when I'd established that as a habit, and it got easier, then I started doing it twice a week. So I'd say, I mean, the first thing is simply just do it.
Yeah.
I think in terms of style, the best thing is to just, I mean, there's nothing worse on one level than a sort of blank piece of paper to sort of like staring at you and it's like, got to fill it up. So it's, that can be, there's a lot of times I've sat at my computer, I'm like, I don't know what I want to write. But I think the key thing is just to write in your own voice as well. Just be yourself, and just keep to a kind of really natural way of doing it. And then it just really is practice. It's like anything, is that the more you do something, better you get at it. And so it's it's exercising that writing muscle.
Definitely. And I, if we just follow up on that a little bit, I quite often like writing about things that inspire me as well. So it's looking about, what your audience could be potentially interested in, looking at the tone even that you're going to write in. Sometimes are you going to write in a conversational tone? Is it a professional tone? But also to write about something that really interests you. And obviously that's going to potentially interest the people that are going to read it as well, and to do some research. I'm signed up to quite a number of emails, probably like everyone else here, but there's 1 or 2 of them in particular that I would always read every week, because they themselves would have interesting topics and articles that are in relation to business and marketing in my context. In yours, perhaps there's ones about the equestrian world that you're signed up to, where there's those sparks of inspiration where you're like, oh, that would be a really good blog post, or you can expand on that idea. Like I wrote one there a couple of weeks back about the diamond industry and how that all came about, and I was just super interested in it for a long time, and I got a huge amount of feedback about it, and it was just kind of like a case study that people would be potentially interested in. And I think so if you put stuff like that, like Denise is saying, just practice and put it out there and ask for some feedback. Feel free to send them on to us if you want as well, and all the rest of it, because sometimes it's just getting started, isn't it? It's just having the confidence. And like I saw your lineup for your summit, and I mean, congratulations. I mean, it looks absolutely amazing. Like I worked significantly in the horse industry for quite a while here in Ireland, and I was really impressed with your lineup. I mean, it was quite comprehensive. So doing something like that, I think, is amazing. And even to write about that, your experience that you've had doing that, and, how it's helped people, and, looking for, from others, what they find about it, ask them questions, get some feedback and write about that. Sometimes even just asking your audience what do they like and what inspires them can be something that already inspires you, and maybe you can write further on it, So, and the video blogging, I mean, you're obviously doing a great job as it is. So what are your plans with that? I mean, are you going to use an iPhone, or have you got a setup for it, or what are your plans?
Well, I have been working with I've been on some, Michelle Holmes does I don't know if you've come across her, does some video training, so you can go in and do video blogs with lots of other people over a period of a couple of weeks, really, and she sets you tasks every day. So I've done that a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't know, I feel really uncomfortable with it a lot of the time. I think it's different having conversations like this. I can be quite natural, but when I've got to speak into a camera with nobody that I'm talking to, I find it completely different, and get all sort of like you know, and
Well,
it's a real
maybe
struggle.
that's part of your answer, though. I mean, maybe you need to find some friends to be in the Blab with you, and you can
Yeah.
talk about your topic as if, you know, they were people interested in your subject matter, and then rotate those friends out one by one until you get 4 complete, you know, strangers in there who are interested in your topic, and you just, you know, one day at a time. But, you know, you don't have to spend thousands of dollars on equipment. A Logitech C920 is $80. You know, and the best microphone for podcasting and is also budget friendly is the Audio-Technica AT2020. I think that's $80. You know, so for like $160, you are golden, right? I'm a vocalist, right? You know, I fronted a Queen cover band for 10 years, so I've got tens of thousands of dollars in microphones, right? This is the cheapest one I own, you know. And it's one of my favorites, actually, for the big Mack truck look. But yeah, you don't have to do that. I mean, I'm just doing this to be, you know, just to be me, I guess. But yeah, no, you're fantastic. You'll be great. And just whatever you do, if you're going to blog, write in active voice. There's nothing more annoying than reading something written passively. I would have had, must have done, wished I did. You know, be active. You know, have powerful, you know, working verbs, and just, you know, write in an active voice. I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, and Laura works online is just reminded us there as well, which is great. You know, using your creativity and just to interview, for you to interview others, and for you to be interviewed. You know, so put yourself out there on podcasts, on other blogs. You know, like Anthony is saying as well. You know, to even like to go on here to Blab, because you can upload this into YouTube as well. So you could potentially interview people here. And just even have one person here and interview them and have comments and whatnot. And you can just upload that into YouTube and use that. Particularly as a starting point, it might be easier for you. I know personally, when I started doing webinars in particular, you know, you literally are just talking to the computer, like you say, or like you're doing videos. And I just felt like shutting it down. It's like, you know, 2 minutes in, I was like, okay, this is very strange, because I was used to giving workshops, you know, live workshops. And of course you get feedback and people are asking questions or, you know, all that sort of thing. So it is a bit strange. But I have to say now it's fine. I've got used to it. It's taken a couple of months now, I have to say. And actually, I had an interesting situation a while back where I went to a conference. And because I've been doing the webinars, of course, you don't get to see the people. And I had 2 women come up to me and say, "Oh my God, it's Emma Darcy." And I was looking behind me because I was like, who the heck are they talking about? You know, it was really strange. And I literally was standing there and there was a woman beside me and she could see the expression on my face, kind of bemused, kind of going, who are they talking about? And then I realized it was me. But of course, they've been on my webinars and I obviously didn't know what they looked like, but they knew what I looked like. And it just goes to show, actually, and one thing I say to you is the impact that you can have. And I don't have masses amount of people on my webinars. They probably average around 40, 50. But at the same time, I would say get out there, share your voice, share whatever message you have, because it is important. And actually people do listen, even if you feel like you're just talking to a computer or a camera. It's important to share the message, for sure.
Oh, thank you for that. That's really kind. Thank you.
Not at all. So what about other plans, or is there anything else for the new year?
I mean, I think I had a hectic year last year, and I wanted to do a lot of stuff for myself. So I feel that this year is really focused on my business. I think it is quite a hard thing to leave, you know, a job that I was really passionate about, but, you know, step into doing what I basically did, but, you know, asking, you know, for money for it type of thing. So, you know, where I was doing it, I suppose, not as intensively as I am now, but I was doing it as a free service. It was funded by Sport England, the role that I did, but only to a certain level, where riding school proprietors could get access to me for, you know, for free. But now I've really sort of developed programs that go into a lot more detail. So I think anyway that it's sort of like it was quite, I found it quite challenging. So last year I did quite a lot with my pony that I had, and you know, had some fun to sort of like balance that out. So I just feel like this year I really want to sort of knuckle down into achieving the things for my business, and have set myself sort of, I suppose, some financial goals for this year and that kind of thing. But it's all sort of part of what I need to do, because I've got a program that is part of the summit. Leading into that is you know, to sell the program that I'm working on at the moment, which is a 5-month course for riding school proprietors or equestrian centre owners to work with me, and sort of, the aim is to help them through all the different blockages that they have in their business. I trained to be a coach as well last year, so again that was quite an intensive thing to do, and so just putting everything I learned last year into practice, really. So that's the plan, and I've got a really nice few clients that have are set up ready to work with me. I just need to sell a few more places, and I've also I've had 2 international pitches to work for, which have come to me literally, one just before Christmas, and one that I pitched for in the summer is actually reignited again, literally the 1st of January. And I don't know if anybody out there's, Christina's probably gonna kick me. I don't know if you can kick me on but
not yet.
She knows that I'm quite spiritual and that kind of thing, which I think is quite anti. And I did actually see this psychic lady, for any of you else that are out there, when I was sort of in the sort of challenging period, and she said to me, that job that you pitched for is going to come back to you in January, and what happened? It did actually. So I'm waiting for some sort of kick now to say stop talking.
Well, what
nonsense.
you can do is you can get Christina to go to them as well and see what they say.
That was really nice to have an email from them on the 2nd of January saying we're ready to sort of take your work forward. So that was quite well exciting. It's just been a really nice start to the new year already, and looking forward to it. But just it's good. Yeah.
Good times. You're so smiley though. I people that are as positive and as sunshiny as you, I have no worry about your future. You will do well.
Oh, thank you.
Always good. I was just wondering, actually, we might connect afterwards, because obviously I'm based in Ireland, and as I used to be in the horse industry, I have a couple of friends that might be interested in talking to you, because some of them are in, they have riding schools and whatnot. So, and I know a lot of them do struggle, with that whole idea of business and marketing. And when I meet them, I must be using too long of words or something, I don't know, but they probably would rather somebody that's doing it all the time. It would be easier for them to talk to you and stuff. So maybe we could
just to be clear, I'm not good at marketing. In fact, I want to join your mastermind because I am horrible at it. Okay, I am good at a few things, and the things I'm good at are I can take anybody's small business and I can, from a financial and business planning, strategic and tactical perspective, I can turn it. Doctors, attorneys, accountants, pizza makers, bartenders, whatever the business is, I can turn that around. But the one thing I'm not good at is marketing, right? And I think one of the reasons is because I am fairly left-brained. Like, for example, we can go through that in another webinar, but I can help people from a business perspective, but I am woefully unprepared to talk to people about marketing, right? So I'm hoping you two, and actually you three, all of you can help me, because I suck at it. I won't lie. I'm horrible. I spent $3,000 getting a website built, and they didn't build it, and they ran away with the money. And from that point on, I've been very gun shy.
Well, I can appreciate that. We'll probably, we have a couple of webinars and stuff going on tomorrow, which might interest you. I don't know, do you have the link there, or Denise? Because we're doing one on e-commerce and whatnot. And it might, if you're interested, Anthony, you could maybe come along and listen to that. It might be, you get some more, because tonight we're just having a general chat.
Right.
It's not really, we're just having a general chat. We want to do kind of an easy blab where, people come on and share whatever it is that they want to do for the new year and all that sort of stuff.
I get it. I totally get it.
So I hope you don't mind. And I know Hillary was quite keen to come in and chat to us. She obviously has some great things to do in the new year. Oh yeah, Christina's just put in the webinar there in the chat. So that's one she's doing tomorrow. And if you're interested in particularly in websites and e-commerce or retargeting and all that sort of stuff, Christina's literally a genius at it. So I would recommend that you would have a look at that, and maybe you could come to that tomorrow if you had time.
I shall do. But if you don't mind, I'm going to beg off, and then I will check out some of that stuff and let somebody in the chat. And so
thank you so much, and thanks so much for sharing your what you're going to do, your goals and whatnot for the new year. Really, really appreciate it, Anthony. And I hope you get better soon.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Bye.
Okay. So if Hillary wants to come in and jump in the open seat.
I'll leave now as well. So if I didn't realise there was only a few people in it, so I'm going to thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Right, bye.
Bye.
Whoops.
So we've got two people coming in now. We've got Hillary and we have Spy Gadget Rentals. I'm sorry, what's your first name?
Monty.
Monty. Hi, Monty. So I'm Emma and this is Denise. So welcome.
How are you? Thank you.
Good.
Very interesting blab. Okay, that's fine.
Cool. So what are your things for the new year? What are you planning?
Well, believe it or not, we're not going to do anything radical. This is our company mascot. We're going to keep plowing ahead. We're going to keep plowing ahead, and we're going to try to capitalize on the momentum that we
My
create.
company mascot would never allow me to do that. She's off.
Come on, you've got to go and get your cat now.
Well, ours is he thinks he's a dog actually, and this is one of the few cats that walks on a leash throughout the neighborhood.
Are you serious?
Yeah, we got lots of fans, lots of paparazzi who watches him whenever he comes out on his leash, and he walks around the whole neighborhood on a leash, pretty much every day, every other day at least.
I just want to interrupt a moment because Hillary's trying to get in here, and I don't know if it's something to do with her connection. Or there's something we need to do at our end as well.
You might I think she did try to pop out and pop in again. What she might need to do is
refresh. Refresh, maybe. Some people refresh, I think, sometimes.
Yeah, just even come out the entire blab even sometimes.
Right.
Again.
Okay, all right. Is enough of that? I guess he's getting tired.
I was just going to click her on, but well, if you could just tell us a bit about what you do, Monty, and
sure.
And Hillary, can you just pop out again and let me? I think I can click you back on if you come straight back in, and I'll just try and hit the button.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. We are a full-service surveillance and security equipment company. We have the largest inventory of items that you can rent as well as buy and lay away. They include bug detectors, audio listening devices, GPS trackers, nanny cameras. What else? We have lifetime guarantees and warranties on all the products. We have 24/7, 365 tech sales and customer support. We have the largest library of demonstration videos you're going to find online pretty much. And we have a very large library of articles, podcasts, blogs, etc. for educational, informational purposes. We've been doing this for probably 15, going on 20 years. And we have anti-terrorist products. What else? We have personal protection products, all sorts of things that we've been doing, law enforcement grade solutions as well.
And where are you based?
In Ventura, California.
Right. And so what are your big goals for 2016 then?
Nothing really, except again, we did a lot of investment in the business. We have some partnerships with some new people. Hi, there she is. Hi, Hillary. And we're just
Hillary.
trying to, we just, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, just saying hello. I don't want to interrupt.
Oh, okay. No, we just want to capitalize the momentum that we've created from 2015. And I'm hoping that with, we're probably going to redesign the website, but we're optimizing it for mobile as we speak. And we migrated the website to a new server. And we just have 1 million products, it seems like, that we really need to take advantage of promoting and just capitalizing and keep the momentum going. That's, nothing big. I'm sorry, it doesn't sound very exciting. But
I suspect you're probably underselling yourself.
Well, that's typical of me, yeah. I don't want to monopolize the time here, but yeah.
You said that you've got momentum in 2015. So what would you say was the number one thing that you did that helped you to get that? Because that's one of the things that a lot of businesses struggle with, particularly when they're starting out, is getting that momentum.
Well, I think just making sure that our presence on all of the social media sites, as far as branding is concerned, we're making absolutely sure that the branding strategy is in place. So that means, first of all, establishing a presence on all the social media sites, and and just making sure that we have all of the infrastructure in place, the e-commerce capabilities, the PayPal, the Bitcoin. There's something out there called Bitcoin. So the infrastructure for e-commerce going forward, all that has to be in place, and that's been implemented. Partnering, getting rid of some people where things weren't working out. You know, I had some designers who weren't really responsive, very they just weren't very responsible. They had to be, you know, unfortunately gotten rid of. Yeah, exactly.
Released.
And yeah, exactly, and released, and then and replace those people with some others. So it's all about refining and focusing, probably, is a main thing, probably. Yeah.
And I just want to make sure, because you've got an e-commerce business, that you have picked up that Christina is doing a webinar especially on e-commerce tomorrow. She's really smashed it in the last few months over here in the UK, and so she's going to be sharing some of her kind of key insights. So up it's going there in the chat box there. So anybody else who's listening in as well who has an e-commerce business, then Christina is really the person to learn from on that.
Oh, cool.
So yeah.
Yep.
All went. You have The Apprentice, I know, over in the US, and she some of her products got featured on the UK version of The Apprentice. And
oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, and then she was able to capitalize on the PR for that, and then the timing of that, which was, I mean, it was quite fortuitous for her, was it worked really well in the run up to Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
Oh, of course. Right.
And, you know, Christmas and all of that. So it just all, each thing went sequentially really, really well. So,
cool.
Right. But she was able to get those results because of actions she'd taken previously that meant that her website was set up for success. So, yeah.
Well, that's important. Yeah, you know, you guys don't forget, the viewers at least, that when you make a certain amount of investment in time and capital in your businesses, we don't always have to, you know, scratch everything that we've done. Sometimes you want to build up on what you've accomplished so far. Those short-term and medium-term plans, they take some time to take hold, and sometimes we can forget. You know, we want to change course, change direction, implement 9 million different strategies or something. But for me, I'm a little bullheaded. I like to stick to my guns to see what works. And then I'd like to go back and measure my results. And sometimes, you know, you look at that 5-year, that 10-year strategy, and the results that you got over the last 5 or 10 years or something. If you've accumulated those records, it really helps. Yeah, but you go back and you see how have you done. You know, have you done with, and then you get a chance to learn. I think a lot of young people sometimes they get the impression that if it doesn't happen within a month or something, then we need to scrap it and get rid of it. But you know, it really takes a long time sometimes to get the results going and to see. So you'll learn, because you make a mistake, and then you get a chance to find out what you did wrong. But if you switch gears too often, you don't know what happened, because you know you kept switching. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I mean, I think my key advice on this, and sort of picking up something that Anthony said earlier on as well, is it's really working out what are the probably 3 key marketing channels for your business. And once you've got those channels worked out, and oftentimes it's looking at what your competitors are doing, because if your competitors are building out great business using those channels, there's absolutely no reason why it's not going to work the same for you. And then really making sure you've got the right tactics, that you're actually working those channels in the right way.
Okay.
And the other piece of advice I found so useful when it came to marketing was something called the marketing rule of 7x3, and that's that you have to have seen or heard something up to 7 times before you actually notice it. And
yeah,
then
that's true. That's true. Yeah, very true.
And then of those 7 out of each communication, it's likely that you'll only see 1 in 3 of them. So, you know, because You send out an email, it goes into somebody's spam, or they've just got
Right.
a box or whatever it is. So so it takes 7 times for somebody to even notice it anyway, and then you're going to have 2 out of 3 communications you can assume will go missing in action in some way. So what that means is you've just got to do a heck of a lot more marketing than you think you have to, and people generally give up just when other people are starting to take notice of them. Exactly.
It's a very good point. I typically, my rule of thumb is this: if I don't get kicked off a social media website sooner or later, then it's, I'm not doing enough marketing. Usually I get threatened by someone that, you're going overboard. And then that's when I know, no, Denise is saying, look, we're bombarded with information, right? I mean, think about the posts on Google Hangouts, the posts on Facebook and Twitter. That feed is going, okay? It's going every time you post something. You look, turn your back and look again. It's 9 million other posts have taken its place. So for me, that means that I've got to use a lot of repetitive, redundant, boring ad copy, and it's got to be structured and restructured, and what they call it, you got a new term they're using, repurpose, as if that's something new. But anyway, somebody came up with the idea of repurposing content. But yeah, I'm a big repurposing person, and I believe in multimedia. So yeah, what Denise is saying is absolutely right. Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Pepsi, they spend $1 billion on marketing and advertising, not because they want to, not because they just have the money, because they know there's exactly, we're competing for mind share.
It's brand recognition. That's what it is. And if you look at Coca-Cola, actually, some of those companies are the few in the world that actually have branding as part of their overall valuation of their company. So, and I think that's the way it's going to go in the corporate world. Now, it is already, but it's not hugely part of it. But for some companies, it is, like Coca-Cola, they do that, and quite a number as well. But you've got some great points there, and I love the fact you're waiting to get kicked off social media.
Yeah, no. Look, I always look forward to somebody telling me that I'm overdoing it, and because I'm serious. Good. I meant to put goodwill. That the term I was looking for was goodwill. What corporations are doing when you sell a corporation, a lot of times, one of the things that you value when you're selling from one company to the other, goodwill, right?
Because you can't buy that. You can't
buy that. If you establish enough goodwill in your company, and Hillary or Denise or anybody sells their company, I got to pay for the goodwill that you've established, and that's worth a lot of money, because
it's sometimes worth more than the buildings.
I would pay a lot for it if I didn't have to go out there and convince the whole planet that this was a good business, and you've already established that. I don't have to do that. So
you don't have to get kicked off any more social media, basically.
I'm going to get kicked off of Blab. I'm going to kick myself off and let Hillary come in and let some other people come in. But it was a pleasure. I'm going to go and get some coffee so I can start executing my plans, okay?
Thank you so much. You're a ticket. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right.
Great points, sir. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. You guys, have fun.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right.
So, Hillary.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you both today?
Great. So, Happy New Year.
And Happy New Year to you too. It's, yes.
What are your plans? What are your plans for the new year?
Oh, I'm going back to the drawing board for the new year.
Okay.
I've been running the business part-time for 8 years and full-time for the last year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And the last year and a half have given me some very good information about what I need to do, what's out there, what's available, who the clients are. And so now I'm going to rejig how I've been approaching things over the last 10 months, I guess, to try and bring in some more business and to slightly expand the audience that I'm aiming at. So I had one idea particularly when I started, and much like Monty just said, I kind of drove home that idea as much as I could and to see where I could get with it. And it didn't quite work. I gave it, about 10 or 11 months, and it didn't really work the way I thought. So, new year, fresh start. I'm sitting here with my multiply colored pens and my index cards, and I'm working on a whole new plan for the business. So
fantastic.
It's daunting, but it's exactly the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So there's no point in pounding my head against the brick wall, not working. So so that's my plan, which is why I love to hear what you guys are up to and how you are starting the new year and looking forward.
Yeah, and I think it's a great point you make, Hilary, there in terms of taking a step back to take a step forward sometimes, you know, where you've got to review what you've been doing, like as in, you know, look at where you are today in your business, establish like how you got there, and then to look at what are your opportunities going forward and how can you maximize them as best possible. But sometimes it can be good as well, though, to look at what you have achieved too. And I've challenged a few people to go back and look through their diaries even and see what they've been doing month on month, because sometimes we overestimate sometimes what we've achieved in some instances, and in other instances we're not giving ourselves enough praise for what we have achieved. And I think it's important to acknowledge both in terms of, I suppose, establishing why you are where you are right now, be it, you know, whatever it is, and equally then to say, okay, well, what do I want to achieve going forward, and what can I do to establish that? And it sounds like you're kind of in that space.
I am, yeah, but that's a very good point, because it's easy to overlook some of the successes when they haven't been as abundant as some of the not successes, you know. So to put it that way. So it's important to acknowledge where you've been successful, as well as acknowledge where things need work and help, or maybe just you need to scrap it all together. That's the other thing, you know. Just forcing a round peg into a square hole doesn't always work. So sometimes you can make it go, but not often. So it's better, I think, just to sit back, take a good long look at things, take the time, which I thankfully have over the next couple of weeks, to actually do that and see how things lie at the end of the next 10 days or 2 weeks.
Yeah. What I'd say definitely as well, Hilary, is, you know, take from what Monty was just saying, that sometimes we have to give it more time depending on what it is you're talking about. And I think, you know, you obviously know we're doing this mastermind or whatever, but regardless, if you can bounce whatever ideas you have, like even if you want to suggest them here, if you feel free, or if not, you know, later on or whatever, but just sometimes it's good to talk to other entrepreneurs and get their feedback, you know, independently. Because sometimes I think, you know, like everything, even if you're in a relationship or whatever the case is, it's to get that outside view sometimes where, you know, we're kind of stuck in it and it's hard to see the wood for the trees sometimes.
Absolutely.
So that can be important too. So, but it sounds like you've had an interesting year and a half. Like, how have you found the whole transition from, say, part-time to full-time entrepreneur?
I loved it. I mean, aside from the stress and the uncertainty of when the money's coming in, and the fact that you're chief cook, bottle washer, marketer, salesman, CEO, janitor, you know the drill. But absolutely, it's the best thing I've done. Both my friends and family have said that they've seen a huge change in me, and even though some of it's stressful compared to the stress levels I had working in the corporate world, you know, virtually non-existent. And I have to remember that too. You know, that's sometimes hard to remember, especially when you're at a remove from it. I've been out of it now for a year and a half. It's trying to remind myself that actually, if I look back onto those corporate years, this is much, much better. And I prefer this stress than that stress.
Yeah.
So
it's having that autonomy, isn't it, to make your own decisions.
Yeah.
And I know some people actually find it difficult in the sense of, you know, when you're in a corporate world, depending on your position, but if you've got to refer to somebody, or even if you are CEO or whatever you are, you still have a board or whomever, you've always got to refer to other people. So sometimes it can be inherently challenging to only have yourself to refer to. And it's questioning yourself, I think, in terms of that, you know, and sometimes even having the confidence to move forward with those decisions, like in terms of you know that they're right, but somehow you're like, should I look into this? Or, you know, not going down the rabbit hole of shiny new object syndrome, which I think, particularly in the online world, is
so easy.
Yeah.
So easy.
with social media, especially. I think you can go onto Facebook and a couple of hours there easy enough. But that sounds really great. How about you, Denise? Have you anything else you'd like to add in here?
I suppose what I'd be interested in is, you're rethinking your business side of things. Do you have other goals that you've set out for the year, sort of beyond the business, or even some things that are it's made you decide what are the kind of priorities in your business life that are non-negotiable now going forward?
Well, it's part and parcel of what I'm working on over the next couple of weeks, is to figure out what those are for me, where the things are that I'm not willing to give up, where the things are that there's some flexibility. I have one goal in mind, which is fairly firmly fixed if I can make it happen, and that is a trip to the UK in September. I was going to tell you that.
Awesome. That will be London, won't it?
Yeah, it will be, yeah. Walthamstow, I think, probably, at least for, a couple of nights. But no, that's...
Christina to swap with me, come back from Spain and let me...
Let you go to Spain?
Let me go to Spain, yeah.
No, but it's as Denise knows well, London was my home for 18 years, and I miss it desperately. I haven't been for a couple of years, and friends are getting married, and so that's the goal I have in mind. So I need to sort the business out in a way that it's making enough money that I can do things that I like that I want to do, not just this year, but every year, and give myself the flexibility to do those things. And Denise was saying earlier about, taking a sabbatical and sitting down and concentrating on writing her book or doing other things like that. But it's having those goals in mind, I think, helps keep you going and helps keep me going for certain. And also helps get you through those moments where you do think, why did I do this? This is crazy. Or, any of those other things that entrepreneurs have in the backs of their minds. As work through the harder moments, or the more difficult or the more challenging moments of being an entrepreneur. So that's what I'm aiming at.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Cool. There's some interesting stuff coming up here, I think, for everyone. And I think it's interesting always that no matter what business you're in, there's kind of parallels, isn't there, in terms of taking that time to step back, things like looking after yourself, things, where, family and, people around you are still important to make time for them. And there's so many, I think there's often themes, I often notice talking to different entrepreneurs, there's different themes that no matter what business you're in, they're kind of important. Like we all know we have to look at our marketing and sales, and equally, obviously, the financial side of your business is equally important too. And making those decisions. But I think the core of business oftentimes can be the same, kind of like, and I like that idea, Hilary, that you're taking that step back, to take massive steps forward.
Oh yeah, no, I've taken a massive step backwards.
But that's okay. It's having the courage to do that sometimes, Yeah.
And actually, it feels quite liberating to do that. I've kind of just shed all the things that I've been working on for the last 10 months that really haven't gotten anywhere and don't look like they're going to either. I've taken quite a close look at those, and I think it's time to change up dramatically how I've been doing things, because it's what I was doing wasn't working the way I wanted it to. So
yeah, it's funny because I'm actually just writing something for my blog at the moment about that, which is around is looking at the reality of your business right now. And I often talk about the brutal reality. Sometimes, there are aspects of our business that just really aren't working that well, and it's it's just having the courage and the confidence to say, look, I gave it my best shot. I did everything I could based on the information that I had to date about it, and it's just, for whatever reason, it's just not taking off in the way that I wanted to. And I, you know, sometimes I see people in the entrepreneurial space, and I think, I really wish you would do that. I really wish you'd take a bit of a step back, because you are just, all you're doing is bashing your head against a brick wall and giving yourself a headache with this. And you know, and if you could just give yourself that bit of perspective, that would then, what it does is it frees up your thinking, doesn't it?
It does. It absolutely does. And I'm fortunate because for reasons that are boring, I've ended up away from my house for a month, and it's given me not just the physically different space, but mentally different space as well. And so that change has helped to solidify some of the things that I've been thinking about for the last little while in any case. But, you know, having to up sticks and move somewhere else, be in a different physical space, be in a different headspace, be in a completely different city. I'm on the other end of the country. So I think the combination of everything came together at just the right time, although Christmas thrown in the mix, but whatever. It makes a big difference. It really does. So and we'll see, you know, who knows? I see if my colored pens are magic colored pens, and what I can make happen with my magic colored pens.
Well, as long as you've got really lovely coloured pens to sort of start off with.
Absolutely. It's the only thing that makes a huge difference.
Absolutely. Then it will, that'll help everything to flow just beautifully.
It does, yeah.
We had Miriam asking about if there's any way to come in the hot seat without the camera. I don't think that's possible. So
unless you put a cloth over your head or something like that. But aside from that, Miriam, I don't think there is.
Miriam, we never get to see you. You should come on camera. I actually think you can just use the audio if you desperately want to. I think there's an option where you can just do audio. But Miriam, you're so shy. We'd love to see you.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen you in lots of Facebook groups, so
Hillary's hometown of Toronto as well.
Yeah, we are both in. We can't manage to see each other, but we are both in Toronto.
I've been to Toronto, actually. It's a lovely city.
Have you? Well, you have to let me if you come back.
No, I will do. I have some family in Hamilton.
Oh yeah.
Back in the day, I've seen a guy from London, Ontario. Yeah. And we went skiing. Where did we go skiing? Near Toronto, which I can't remember. Collingwood. Ian?
Yep.
Yeah. It was nice.
Excellent. Well done.
Okay. Well, Miriam, I'm shy too. And Denise is an introvert.
I know you, Miriam, and I know you're not that shy.
Oh, Miriam, you're being outed. Your shyness is.
Yeah, exactly. And if you think, Miriam, I keep saying that I have a face for radio or for podcasting or whatever it is. No, but I prefer just to, like, I'd rather, like, there isn't the video, but I mean, you know, I just got to get over it, don't I? So.
Well, I think we all, I mean, I'm always terribly shy of these things, and I hated doing them, but I'm now getting used to it. Like you said earlier, Emma, I'm just getting used to it because I've been forcing myself to do it.
Yeah.
There she is.
Yeah, she's coming in. Well, do you know, Hillary, somebody told me there was about 1.5 years ago, Emma, you got to get over yourself. And I was like, oh, thank you. Not. I didn't want to hear that advice. Miriam, we can't actually hear you or see you. So I'm just wondering, have you got Chrome? Are you using Chrome? And also, if you just logged out of, say, Skype and stuff, sometimes that can affect it. So if you might need to log out and log back in again, if that's okay. And hi to Alessandro, who's just joined us. Quite a number of people have been joining us there. So we're really just having a chat about behind the scenes, really just what's everybody's plans for the new year. And we're just sharing some of what we're doing for the new year. So Hillary's kindly been chatting about what she's going to be doing for the new year and her insights into sitting back and, you know, taking a step back in her business, like we all need to at different times before you can take a step forward. And, you know, I think that's great advice for sure. So Miriam's going to come on, but she's just switching to Chrome. She was on Firefox. That potentially was stopping her from being shown. So if anybody else wants to step into the chat even and share some of your goals for 2016, anything you've learned from 2015?
I will sign off so that it opens up a seat for somebody else. Miriam, if you're trying Firefox, that was my problem, and all you have to do is give permission to use the camera and audio, and that should fix the problem. Anyway, Happy New Year, and Denise, you and I'll chat soon.
Indeed, yeah. Looking forward to it.
Okay.
Thank you
Bye,
so much.
Emma.
Bye, Hilary. Thank you so much for joining again. Thank you.
I'll keep listening. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. Okay, well, just while we're waiting for Miriam to come on, I'm just going to share with, if you're interested in the mastermind, we were just alluded to kind of once or twice during the Blab. We are just putting together a mastermind with Denise and Christina, who can't join us because she's on holiday in Spain. So unfortunately she can't join us in the Blab today, but we're doing a mastermind. Cutoff point for applications is Friday this week, Friday night. If you think you might be interested, just have a look there and we'll send you the prospectus. But would you like to maybe give a little bit more information just while we're waiting for Miriam to come in? Denise, that would be great.
Okay, so I suppose the impetus for this was that we saw a lot of online courses, a lot of groups offering business kind of advice and coaching that's at quite a low level, basically. And we we all come from very serious professional backgrounds, and we were mindful that there's quite a gap in the market for entrepreneurs who've got going with their businesses, have had some success with it, and really want to focus more on some more advanced business building and marketing strategies. And and it may be that they're great in some areas of their business, and other areas it's not their zone of genius right now, and they want to develop that skill. So we had Anthony talking earlier on in the Blab about how finance is really his thing, but marketing not so much his gift at this point in time. So kind of people like in that sort of space, and to provide a forum for people who want to make a real breakthrough in their business. They want 2016 to be a kind of breakthrough year where they get big results that take them to the next level, whatever that means in terms of their business. And so we decided we wanted to put in place a mastermind group for that. And that we would do it as an online medium, because a lot of the people we know are around the globe. So we're here in the UK, Emma's in Ireland, a lot of people we know are in Canada, US and Australia as well. So online was the way to really make it happen, and to also to make it at an affordable price point for people as well. So we've put together a prospectus, and that's the link that Emma has shared in the chat box there. And so if you click on that, it'll take you straight through to get a copy of the prospectus, and that really tells you everything that there is, well, more or less everything there is to know about the mastermind group. So yeah, so that's that. And I suppose the reason I like mastermind groups so much is that I was in one for my first year of business, and I found that it really helped to keep me accountable to my goals. And that because I went, this particular group we met on a monthly basis, it meant that I showed up every single month having done exactly what I said I was going to do, and oftentimes more. And it was that consistency and continuity that really helped me to build out momentum in my first year of business and to take a huge step forward. So that so I had such a positive experience of being part of a mastermind, and that's really why, one of the reasons I wanted to be involved in creating something myself. So I just see Miriam's got on the hot seat there, so just coming in. Emma's audio's gone. Emma's on audio.
I'm just talking.
Hi, Miriam. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi. Good. We're putting little headsets on, but can you hear me?
Yes, we
Absolutely.
can. So
Good.
welcome.
Good. Hi. So nice to see you both.
You. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good.
So I wanted to ask you something because I have some ideas for for this month. I taught a course at the university, an online course for graduate students. It was wonderful. I loved teaching it. And I see that it's not offered this year at the university because of poor enrollment, so they don't have enough students. My question is this. I know that there are platforms out there where I can offer courses. For example, and I don't know how to pronounce this, the one that's spelled Udemy. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Udemy, I call it Udemy, but I have no idea how to do it.
So I'll see whether that's a platform that will be appropriate for this particular course. But I'm having trouble seeing how I can consider this a business. This is just, more teaching. So I'm really trying to wrap my mind around this idea of creating something that I can actually consider to be a business rather than just self-employment, a job. I'm my boss, but this is just a job.
Yeah.
Right. How do I scale something like that? Right.
I think the starting point is there a market for the product, and is it a big enough market, and can you sell that potentially in enough volume to make a significant profit?
Right, and this is something I'm going to have to go through the validation steps, etc.
What's the course teaching?
The course teaches strictly how to read French. So it was just how to read French. So it was designed for graduate students who needed a language credit. Yeah. And graduate students, it depends on the department, but sometimes this course is for French. So being in Canada, assuming that some of the articles or references books that they may need to access for the research would be written in French. So how to get them to a point where they're able to understand what they're reading. Mm-hmm. And that's it. So it's not about speaking French. It's not about producing the written word. They don't have to write at all. It's just really strictly learning how to understand what they're reading. Which really, lends itself well to an online format, because I don't need to speak to them. They don't need to speak to me and practice pronunciation, that kind of thing. Strictly reading. Yeah.
So the question
I thought of was that?
I think that there's two questions that immediately come to my mind, which is what sort of size of market do you have, and also in terms of building out a business, you need to be able to add on other products as well. So what opportunities to add on other products?
Well, this is the other thing. Oh, sorry.
If you were to start with your core product, then for it to scale, you've got to be able to add on other products as well. So either products that are aligned with that, or that naturally build on from that.
Okay. This is another reason why I'm really wondering whether to go this route, because there's so many people who teach French. There are free YouTube videos, learn how to speak French to go to Paris for 2 weeks, blah, 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 right? I don't see that. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to think about it. I mean, I'm very good, but so are many, many other people, right, in teaching French. So it's just something I wanted to ask you how. So thank you. You did answer my question. So that would be how to scale it, to add other other products, other courses, other something.
yeah, there's got to be a big enough market. So in this instance, you're talking about something that the market's very specific, because it's all the people want to do is to be able to read in French and not be able to do anything else with it. That's incredibly specific, which suggests to me that the market isn't huge for that. Okay. Now, in terms of people who want to be able to speak French for business purposes or a variety of other reasons, then the market for that is going to be much more significant. And of course, you're right. There is a competition, a big competition for the market. But I think any product that is a product or service that people want, that has a relatively high level of popularity, you are always going to find competitors in the marketplace. So, if you take my business, which is business coaching, there are no shortage of business coaches out there and in the marketplace. Has that stopped me becoming a business coach? No.
No. Right.
So, because whether or not you've got something to offer that is over and that can differentiate yourself from your marketplace as well. And I mean, there's a lot of different sort of aspects when you're thinking about building out a business, but one of the things that I think is really important is, do you really love what you do? Do you really love it? Is it something that you can see that you're going to love doing for the time to come as well? Because our passion and enthusiasm for what we do really that's infectious with people.
Right.
Obviously, you've got the whole marketing thing, sort of like to build out your marketing and everything, but at the core of it, if you really love what you do and that's obvious to people, it does become infectious. So that's not quite a business case, but I think it's a really good starting point. And then it's about, if you've got a particular gift for something that enables you to differentiate yourself, because there will be lots of people in that marketplace who are not especially gifted teachers. So, there will be. So if you are able to be better than a significant proportion of your competition, then that places you very well in terms of creating a business. And that doesn't matter whether it's in a business that's to do with languages or any other kind of a business that you're looking to build out. Is if you are really, really good at what you do, it will separate you from the pack. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, yeah. And I can say with 100% certainty that technically I'm not the best teacher out there, but somehow my students really appreciated me because of the caring. Now, how do you translate that online? I have no idea. Well, recently, as you know, Denise, I did some data analysis for a company.
Yeah.
And, it's funny because I loved it. What's that?
Did you get to meet Paul when he was in Canada?
No, he didn't come to here. He went to Niagara Falls instead, and you know what? I'm glad he did, because frankly, Niagara Falls you don't want to miss that when you come to Canada for the first time.
Yeah.
No, but he said he was going to come back at some point to Canada, so hopefully
He's got some international travel plans in his.
Yes, that's great. I just loved doing the work for him. It was, and it's funny because when he and I first spoke, I thought, of course I can do this. Data analysis, that's what I do, right? As a linguist, I analyze linguistic data all day long. And so naively, I just said, okay, let's do it. Well, the thing is, data just jumps off the page at me. So it's something that I love doing. And it's only after the project was completed that I Googled data analyst just to see what kind of wording I could use to put together an offering. You know, maybe there are other people who need data analysis. And then I realized, oh, normally data analysts have very strong formal backgrounds in statistics, and I don't have that, right? So I'm still trying to figure out how I could do something in that way without saying I'm a data analyst, because clearly I don't have that formal background in statistics. So, but I love taking very complex things and breaking them down into simple chunks and explaining it to people. I'm told I'm very good at that. So it's whether it's French or data. I'm not really at this point. I think I read somewhere, I don't remember on whose Facebook wall I read this. It was a quote by somebody. Something about, if you need to worry about covering your monthly expenses, then really you shouldn't be looking at putting together a business. You should be looking at getting a job. And I thought, oh dear, okay, so maybe that's what I should be doing, but I don't see why I can't do both at the same time. I mean, certainly, when Todd, for instance, was talking about the validation process, doesn't have to take 3 months, or does it? I mean, right? Were there people in the group that went through the validation process very quickly for an idea that they had, and then knew to either scrap it or go for it?
Yeah, I wouldn't personally get too hung up on that. I think when you're looking to build out a business, you are successful businesses are founded on doing something that you love. Now, I mean, some people have businesses that they don't love, but I don't think you're going to be one of those people. So, is it something that you love doing? Is it something that you are really good at doing? And is it something something that you can be one of the best, if not the best, in your market at? And is it profitable as well? Can you make money from it? And that then comes down to these questions about how big is the market, and how profitable is this the particular product that you're thinking about, and can you add it if it's about being a business as opposed to a freelancer teacher. Freelancer as a French teacher, for example, there have to be other products that you can add on to it. So that could be other products to do with French, or it could be other products to do with languages, for example. But that's what's going to build out build that business for you. And so that's a kind of relatively straightforward piece of marketing research to do. And then it's really then the next question is, where are you going to get those first customers from?
Right.
Where are they going to come from? And if you can't work out how to get those first customers, really difficult to get around.
Well, in terms of customers, I'm sorry. You're sort of coming through shopping.
I wanted to bring in there. There's some quite a bit of feedback.
I don't hear you at all, Emma.
Yeah, I can't hear you either, Emma. I think I'm going to hop back in.
Hear me now? Hello?
Yay, we can hear you now.
Okay, great. Sorry, I disappeared there. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I just wanted to share in terms of market research. You mentioned you've been doing some market research, and you mentioned your statistics, or that sort of thing. I have done quite a good bit of market research, and I've worked for a market research company. And one thing I'd say to you is, I mean, obviously statistics is a huge aspect of doing proper market research, but it's not the be all and end all. And some of the best market researchers that I've come across are potentially marketers or people that are interested in finding out the truth. And that sounds like that's right up your alley. Because sometimes, in actual fact, if you're really good at statistics, you
Excuse me 1 second. My son is calling me. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. But sometimes, if you're doing statistics, they're just too stringent on the actual question, and there's an element of bias. So yeah, I think she might be very good at doing market research by the sound of it.
I'm back.
Okay, but I was just saying, Miriam, that it's not the be all and end all just to have statistics in your background for being a market researcher. There's plenty of other skill sets that you need. And in fact, to have a really good market research, you need somebody that's good at statistics, but equally somebody that's good at actually the research aspect of it itself and able to deduce the results from that. And it sounds like there are skills that you have in abundance. In terms of who your future customers could be, if you've been doing market research already, and it sounds like you're doing some work with universities or colleges, they are always looking for people to do market research. Within the universities themselves, companies would come to them on a regular basis looking for market research to be done. And equally within the universities and within the departments themselves, they're always looking for somebody to do market research. So that would be my first port of call. And equally, if you do work with the university, is that right? Or
sorry. No, I was teaching at the university while doing my PhD.
Okay, well, I mean, if you've got a PhD, they're going to love you. I mean,
I don't have it yet. It's not completed.
But if you've got a PhD, that's part of that is absolutely market research. I mean, that's the whole point of a PhD is learning over a long period of time how to do research. Yeah. That's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
So you're researching one specific question typically for your PhD. So what I would say is go back to your supervisors, go back to the department head, go back to the dean of the business school or whatever school that you're in the university, and ask them, because I guarantee you they will have work for sure. And even put it up on, like, even within universities, go to the HR department. They will get referrals all the time where companies will contact them looking for market research. If they've got a marketing department, because you're already in there, because otherwise you've got to start from scratch.
Right.
So all you need is a couple of gigs to get you going. Then you get testimonials, and your business can start from there. I would say start like that, because that's the easiest thing. You can obviously go out and do market research about it, and you can spend all this kind of time faffing around. If you want to start making money tomorrow, I would just ring them tomorrow. Go in and meet your supervisors, meet your department heads tomorrow. They will be able to work your way, guaranteed. Every university is the same. And particularly when you're meeting supervisors and whatnot, because you meet external supervisors. So you're meeting people from other universities. So they can send you people as well. So that's what I would do. And what you would find is you'll build a reputation for yourself, and you start to get referrals. And businesses start to come to you on the back of that. And that saves you because otherwise you're sitting there in an office waiting for people to come to you, right? So that's good. That's what I would recommend. And it will build from there, so absolutely.
Okay. Will do. Thank you.
Not at all. You're more than welcome. So had you anything else you wanted to share with us for the new year or anything like that?
No, thank you both for doing these labs. This is great.
No,
thank you. Thanks for answering my question.
No problem, Miriam. Well, best of luck in the new year, and
thank you.
I hope it all goes really well for you.
Thank you.
Not at all. Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, so all right. Well, I think we've gone through. If anybody else wants to share with us in the chat, but I think we've spent nearly 2 hours now talking about our goals for the new year. Have you anything else you'd like to add, Denise, or are we pretty much wrapped up, I would say?
I'm pretty much done, I think, now. So yeah.
Okay, well, we'd like to thank everyone in the chat. Christy, you just come into us there at the end there, and Rhinestorm. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks to Hilary for joining us and everybody else that joined us today. And Miriam as well. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it and joining in the conversation. Unfortunately, Christina couldn't join us from Spain. She's on the cocktails right now, I would say. But thank you all. I'm only joking, obviously, but have to get that in there, you know. So yeah, so basically thank you all, particularly for, you know, there's been terrific chat going on in the chat box and for people joining us as well. We really do appreciate it. I put in the chat there a couple of seconds ago then, you know, in terms of our mastermind, if you're interested, but equally we have a webinar tomorrow evening at 7:30 London time. The sign up form is there, and I equally shared we have another Blab tomorrow evening at 9 p.m. on the future of online courses. So we're going to have a lively debate about the future of online courses. I think, Denise, you're partially in one house and the rest of us, well, not the rest of us, but we're partially in the other house. So there's views on if they're good, if they're bad or indifferent. And if you'd like to come and join us, we really would appreciate that, because it's just a lively debate on what you think about online courses and the future of them going forward. So I suppose thank you very much for my part from Emma Darcy. And Denise, would you like to say goodbye and we can wrap up for the evening?
Very big thank you to everyone for showing up for this Blab today. Hopefully we might see some of you guys tomorrow when we're talking about the future of online courses, and just really to say thank you for supporting us, and to wish you all a really happy new year, and that 2016 is your breakthrough year.
Yay! So again, yes, happy new year. Absolutely, can't believe, our 14th Blab and the first one of the new year. So yes, happy new year to everyone, and thank you all so much for joining us, and talk to you all tomorrow evening at 9 p.m. Talk to you then. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.